আমরা আজকে 28শে এপ্রিল 2024 জার্মানির বার্লিন শহরের সিটি ট্যুর করতে বেরিয়েছি। খুব সুন্দর সবুজ শহর, গাছপালা ভরে আছে।
ये टिपिकल घर देखा ही नहीं अपने जो में कुछ तो होता है जर्मन ले ले ना फोटो चेकली एरॉन और ये चेकली pero no अभी नहीं बोलेगा अरेंज करके
कश्मीर में था ये खाएंगे। These are tulips.
Going to have to trust me. So
let's put off your hat on top.
yeah, I'm going to keep it on my head. I'm going to wave it a couple of times, and then there we go. Let's do that.
Berliner local guide.
Want to listen to the tour guide? Why don't we do this? All right. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your lovely 3-hour tour. Our first stop is going to be one of the most famous stops on the tour, the Brandenburg Gate. The Brandenburg Gate is named because it used to be a customs gate going towards the city of Brandenburg. This is Pariserplatz. This is one of the largest squares in Berlin. And it was, well, you're going to have to, this is as loud as it's going to get. So I could walk a little closer to you, but that might be a little bit weird for the people behind you, right? So I'm going to try and
বার্লিনের সবথেকে বড় স্কয়ার এটা।
There are 50 of you. So if you can't hear me, I will try to speak as loud as possible, but I also don't want to speak at this volume for 3 hours. Very good. All right, so
operator singing loud.
Opera singing loud, but this is not singing, this is speaking. Anyway, so, and he turned around, looked up at the beautiful Irene and said, I think I want to take her back to Paris. And that's exactly what he did. He took poor Irene and her 4 horses as a symbol of reparations, as a symbol of war reparations. And so from 1806 to 1815, poor Irene was in an actual basement of one of the buildings of the Louvre in Paris. They were then found, and she was then found in 1815 by the invading forces after the Battle of Waterloo in the Napoleonic Wars by Hans von Bülow and the Prussian army in 1815. Prussia invaded Paris twice, and then the Nazis invaded Paris again in 1940. So, the Quadriga was then found by the Germans. She was brought back in 1815, and then she was put back up in a grand ceremony in 1820. But initially, she did not have that big spire. She did not have that big spire holding up since 1820. So this is not as old as many buildings in India, obviously, but this is one of the oldest buildings that is still 1820, yes. So this building right here, this one of these columns, if you look behind you, that is a renovated column that was built in the 1950s by the East German government. This is an original, and you see these holes right here? Those are from bullets from World War II. And these have all been covered up by East German construction teams to try and fill them in with concrete. This material right here is limestone and sandstone. Limestone and sandstone was very, very much easily accessible in the early 1800s, and concrete wasn't even invented at this time. So when the reparation works happened in the 1950s, you can clearly see the differences between the original parts and the parts that have been renovated. Also, if you look over here, you can see these little tiny divots right here. These divots were all made by hand on every single one of these columns. They are done in the Greek style, in the Ionian style, and this is essentially a labor of love of all of these handiwork and craftsmen that worked on these individual divots. These would have taken months to make. So the Brandenburg Gate itself is a testament to human construction, essentially. Hundreds and hundreds of people working on this monument. And so it became a monument of German unity initially. Then, during the Berlin Wall ran square right here. It was behind the Berlin Wall and was only seen as a symbol of division. And now in Berlin, the Berlin Wall, the Brandenburg Gate is seen as a symbol of German reunification as well. It's seen as a symbol of freedom, especially democratic freedom as well. You guys recently had one of the largest elections. Did you all vote? Exercise civic rights? Good, because the majority of us right now are not we're standing on former territory that was once a dictatorship, still in former East Germany. All right, let's keep going, and we're going to walk across and walk towards the Reichstag building. Okay, that we don't see over there. The Berlin Wall. At the site of the Berlin Wall. What we have actually done right now is we have actually crossed from East Berlin into West Berlin simply by going across the street. This was impossible from 1961 to 1989. We would not have been able to do this because right there, you see there is a little line of bricks on the other side. On the other side of the street, there is a little line of bricks that goes straight along the middle of the street. You see there's a little line of bricks right there? Yeah, that is where the Berlin Wall actually went. Whenever you're in Berlin and you see those little line of bricks, that means that you're on the former path. That's where the wall was. That side right there. Berliner Mauerweg. Every time you see that sign, it says Berliner Mauerweg, that means you're on a street that is provided by the Berlin Wall. What we've done now is we've done something that was absolutely impossible for a very long time. From 1961, the 13th of August, until November the 9th, 1989. And during that time, a lot of people tried to escape East Berlin towards West Berlin because obviously East Berlin and East Germany was a very poor country, a totalitarian, oppressive state, ruled by a state police force called the Stasi. State police force. One of the most insidious police forces in history. They were also the Foreign Intelligence Service, and they mostly operated in Western Germany. And they're able to carry out political assassinations as well. So a lot of people trying to escape when the Berlin Wall went up. It basically stopped any people from trying to go from east to west. Early 1961, 3.8 million people escaped from east to west legally because they could cross, literally as we did, walk across the street. Very, very easy. They could get on a train, go to West Berlin. Then they could go farther into Western Germany and they could live a better life. Because the purchasing power here in East Berlin, the currency was worthless. You had very, very few opportunities for employment. There was no freedom of press. It was a vassal state, essentially, of the Soviet Union, the larger Soviet Union, which itself collapsed less than 2 years after the Berlin Wall fell. And so everybody who tried to escape across the Berlin Wall was taking their life into their own hands. Because after the 13th of August, 1961, there was something called the Order to Fire, the Schießbefehl. The Schießbefehl was a secret order given to the border troops of the Berlin Wall, of the GDR, the German Democratic Republic, to shoot their own citizens if they tried to escape the GDR. The GDR made escaping into West Berlin a crime. It was called something called Republikflucht. Republikflucht literally means escape from the Republic. And if you weren't shot, if you were caught and arrested, you would spend 3 to 5 years in prison, in a state prison. There's a very, very interesting prison in former East Berlin called the Hohenschönhausen prison. well, which is where political prisoners would stay. However, if you tried to help people escape by digging a tunnel, for example, or trying to be a courier across the wall, if you were caught, you would spend 10 to 12 years in prison. That was called Landesverrat, or treason, because you were actively working against the East German regime. And so what this meant was, especially in the early years of the Berlin Wall going up, from 1961 to 1964, there were over 4,000 successful attempts, because the Berlin Wall initially was not very well guarded. It was a very, very small wall, and it was built larger as it went along. So from 1961 to 1964, it was about my height. I'm about 6'2", and imagine barbed wire on top of my head, yeah? Then from 1967 to 1970, it became 12 feet tall, so 2.5. We all good? If anybody is hard of hearing, please come to the front, and then I will be able to speak to you a little bit easier, yeah? So the first person who was who died as a consequence of the wall was Ida Siegmann. Ida Siegmann lived in an area of Berlin that was a special case, because the part of the street she lived on, called Bernauer Straße, the northern part was in the French sector of West Berlin, of Wedding, and the southern part was in the district of Mitte in the Soviet sector. That meant that the demarcation line ran along the southern side of the street. The northern side was in West Berlin, the southern side was in East Berlin, which meant the apartments, including her apartment, the windows and doors were in West Berlin. The apartments themselves were in East Berlin. And that meant that the border literally ran through the apartment building. So what did they do? They tried to jump out of their windows to safety. And so 125 people managed to do this successfully. In the first 3.5 weeks of the wall going up, they noticed that the Volkspolizei, or the People's Police, were starting to brick up the windows to stop them from moving, and they were going to move them farther in into East Berlin. Ida Siegmann was 58 years old. She was a widow. Her husband had died. Front, actually, of the Reichstag, just around over here. Yeah. Reichstag Gebäude. The building we refer to as the Reichstag, which means Imperial Diet, Imperial Parliament, because it was the first major building built for the First German Empire in 1888 to 1894. It was designed by Paul Vallot, a designer who won a contest to design this building. And it was designed on the... has anyone ever been here to Philadelphia in the United States? Anybody been to Philadelphia? Have you seen Philadelphia Centennial Hall? It is based on the design of Centennial Hall. So the building was the first purpose-built parliament building and the first democratically elected body in Germany as well. It was the first democracy in Germany, headed by the head of state, who was the emperor, and then you had the elected body, and then the chancellor was appointed by the Sinti people, who were murdered by the Nazis. The Romani and the Sinti people, the Romani came from Kerala in northern India initially, and then for 800 years, migrated across Asia into Western Europe, and the Sinti people came from the Caucasus region. So that would be Georgia, Azerbaijan, northern Turkey. They then eventually came together and actually traveled together for many hundreds of years and settled in an area known as Carpathia. Carpathia is just north of Romania. It is now part of Moldova. For many hundreds of years, the Romani and the Sinti lived in harmony in Carpathia, and they intermingled a lot. Then they moved, and they became a nomadic tribe, essentially, and they moved into the center of Europe. And by the Middle Ages, there were at least 60 to 70,000 Romani and Sinti people in the center of Europe. By the early 1900s, there were approximately 1 million Roma and Sinti people scattered across Europe. And when the Nazis came to power in 1933, they were one of the first people to be persecuted by the Nazis. There was a program that the Nazis enacted called the Action T4 program. The T4 program was the forced euthanization, the first forced sterilization and euthanization of people on the fringes of German society. So that meant people who were transients, Roma and Sinti people. It meant people in mental asylums, people who were mentally ill in old people's homes, elderly people who couldn't pay, who were not paying taxes, who were getting pensions, homosexuals, including all people on the fringe of society. And what they did was they euthanized approximately 40,000 people during this program. This was the precursor to what the Holocaust would become. So in 1939, the Holocaust ramped up into its most deadly phase. From 1939 to 1945, 650,000 Romani and Sinti people were murdered in concentration camps. Yes, yes, 650,000. And so, for a very long time, the Romani and Sinti people, we did not know a lot in the West about their history because it was orally given by people who were considered wise in their tribes and then spoke
tour guides,
stories to other people who were then deemed to tell them along. And so what that meant was that we had a very, very good oral history of Roma and Sinti people, but not a very good written one. And that guy right there, Matteo Maximov, we have to thank for some of the actual written history of the Roma and Sinti people. He was born in France to a Sinti family who were quite well off. And so it afforded him the opportunity to study a lot about his own people. Called books. In 1993, he wrote the personal history of his family and a compendium of history about the Romani and Sinti people called Roads Without Caravans. It is a fantastic book.
Roads with?
Roads Without Caravans. If you come up to me later in the tour and I'll tell you and you can write it down. If you want to read a compendium, a very, very difficult history of the Romani people and what it was like in concentration camps for people of that ethnicity, I highly recommend that you read that book, because Matteo Maximov was one of the first people to actually write that history down. He is considered to be one of the fathers of modern Roma history. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk into the companion piece for this, which is the actual memorial to the murdered Roma and Sinti people. Okay, so let's slowly walk over into that little
Caravans. No caravans.
This memorial itself was designed by Peter Eisenman in 2002 to 2005, and it is comprised of 1,871 different blocks. They can represent whatever you want them to represent. The designer of the actual memorial itself was influenced by the Jewish cemetery in Prague. Here you're going to Prague soon, right? I hope you go to the old Jewish cemetery, because this is the inspiration for this memorial. This is a memorial to the systematic persecution of Jewish people in Germany. And one of your people asked, why did Germany hate the Jews so much? It can be boiled down to the fact that in Germany, since the Middle Ages, Jews had been persecuted in Eastern Europe. They had actually come to Germany in the 1600s, and it was considered a safe haven for Jewish people. Now, there are a lot of reasons why the majority of Europe did not trust Jewish people. They could all come down to conspiracy theories, and basically the fact that for hundreds and hundreds of years in schools, this was the extension building of the German Foreign Ministry, who was responsible for the way that Germany actually conquered all of these countries during World War II. This building then became the West German Mission in East Berlin, and then in 1990, it is now a federal building for the Federal Republic of Germany. This is a federal building. Germany. They're all over Germany and all over Europe. There are 8,000 in Berlin alone. There are 250,000 all over Europe. They commemorate the last known address either having worked or lived in a building. This is a collection of over 30 Jewish employees who worked for the Foreign Ministry's building, which used to be right here. And they were all fired on the same day in 1933 because they were Jewish. And it also shows them where they were actually taken all individually. So if you look at the names here, for example, here worked Dr. Paul Schwarz, born in 1882. He was fired in 1933. He then tried to escape in 1933, and then he was made a U.S. citizen in 19.
Rumbling stones. Rumbling stones আছে
ওই এখানে কাজ করতে ধরে ধরে মেরে দিয়েছি
ಅಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದನ್ನ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಯಾವಾಗ
Berliner Traum.
It is most known as the building in front of which was the East German uprising of 1953. The first time the East Germans revolted against their government in 1953. This would then happen again in Prague in 1968. It happened in Hungary in 1956, and then also in China in 1989 at Tiananmen Square. So now we're going to keep walking towards the topography of terror. Okay, off we go. So, where we're standing right now is the former headquarters of the Gestapo. The former headquarters of the Gestapo and the SS, the infamous state police of Nazi Germany. This is where thousands of people were tortured from 1934 to 1944. The building initially that stood here was an extension of that building over there, which was then built in 1915 and ran along this entire site towards Wilhelmstrasse. It was approximately 80 meters long, and at the end of 1944, it was destroyed by Allied bombing. Where that museum is right there, that's the Inside Topography of Terror Museum. On that site from 1928 to 1941 was a prison, and from 1934 to 1943 was the Gestapo prison. Okay, now, the tour operator, there is a lovely outdoor exhibition which you can go along for the next 20 to 25 minutes and have a look in, and then we'll meet back here in 25 minutes, 25 minutes-ish, and then I will accompany you to Checkpoint Charlie where we will finish the tour, okay?
But you're not sure.
Nazi headquarters. নাৎসি হেডকোয়ার্টার বার্লিনে। আর এই সামনের ভাঙা ওয়ালটাই হচ্ছে বার্লিন ওয়াল, ভেঙে গেছে এখন।
That's progress. That is on the east side of the wall.
Yeah, that is.
Stand die ganze Nacht mit so einer Kerze an der Friedrichstraße und meinte, dass mein
They were before us.
Standing in the queue.
Forgot my megaphone.
They're practicing. Yeah, we are in the middle of.
আরে কতক্ষণ লাগবে? 5 minutes.
এই স্কোয়ারটার নাম হচ্ছে আলেকজান্ডার স্কোয়ার। এদিকে কি ওয়াল ক্লক বলছে? কি বলছে?
সব 142টা শহরে
142টা শহরের টাইম এই ঘড়িতে পাওয়া যায়, সেই জন্য এটাকে ওয়ার্ল্ড ক্লক বলছে।
New Delhi, Karachi and Colombo. You can see.
चलो टंडन उभं
हां चले फोटो मारो तो
I was talking about this. Remember, that's our Catholic Church. Up actually the Cathedral of Meister. And we have such a big Catholic Church at home because the bus is strong. All those great people follow, so you have to be a Catholic. Okay?
Dresden,
I'm going to show his portrait now. And ladies, you have to come to
Old
see us
City.
to fall in love. Promise? Look at his manly eyebrows.
Lavi.
You will see, I've seen them somewhere. They're printed on all souvenirs worldwide. Chocolate boxes, cookie boxes, t-shirts, pens, even toilet paper rolls. I've seen them printed on top. Okay, yes, 60 Madonna by Raphael. It's here in this museum. Will be standing, okay? If you get lost, ask for the opera. We just have one opera house. If you see the Eiffel Tower, you've gone too far. Then you're in Paris. Then you have a big problem, okay? Okay, but don't get lost, okay?
Let's continue.
And he had a lot of jewels. Makes them sexier, doesn't it? Okay, he lived over here, remember? That was the residence. Nobody lives in there anymore, we just have museums. But he lived over here, and one of the most famous mistresses he had was this lady.
Many men are disappointed.
Her name, Anna Constantia. He gave her the title Countess of Posa. Because he was so much in love with her, he wanted her close to him. But you know, ladies, the guys, they want us close, not too close. Isn't that true? He's honest. He's being but not too close. Problem solved. He gave her this tiny little present. What a tiny little present. Ladies? But be careful before you say to your husband, fiancé, boyfriend now, take an example.
Yeah.
I get an iron machine from you. She got a whole pallet. Be careful, because in the end of the relationship, he was very generous as well. He generously took back all the gifts.
એક વસ્તુની એ લોકોએ બ્લાઇન્ડ આપણે એવી રીતે બધું બનાવેલું છે કે બ્લાઇન્ડ પીપલ બી અંદર જાય તે લોકોને ખબર પડે કે શું વસ્તુ શું છે જો અંદર બી કરેલું છે એવી
Model of Royal Palace.
Ali low. Replica of this.
Replica of this. Acha, yes.
Oh, it's so strong.
Just see the iron.
Yeah, strong, strong.
એક એક વસ્તુ આ બીજો ને કેટલો it's braille. Yes.
From the Italian word scrappiare, which means to scratch up. The word graffiti, from it's made of 2 coats of cement. First coat is applied one color, allowed to dry. When dry, the second coat is applied. And when still dry, okay, another color, of course, they start scratching bits and pieces, and the ornaments start showing. So it's not painted, it's a lot of work. And this is how the facade of the royal palace looked originally from the outside. So this was the original look. The only thing really painted is this color for it, biblical seeds. Okay?
It's from the Bible.
Yeah.
Biblical seeds, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you look in the corner, you see like different towers with weird shaped windows. In every corner, you see that. Any idea what could be behind those windows? Spiral staircase, yes. Spiral staircase. So the windows follow the staircase. Very practical. Okay, now we have just a minute to take pictures. Okay, we're going to exit through that door. Take your pictures when I call you. You come. When I say Jazzy, Jazzy, Jallo, you come running. Okay? Okay, take your pictures now. Yeah. Yes. Royal Palace, together with the building that used to be the stables. It's not stables anymore, it's now another museum, okay? So, in case of doubt, it's either hotel or museum here, okay? And in here, they held the famous tournaments, like jousting, you know jousting? On a horse, with a stick. With a stick, they went to pick up the rings that were hanging from those 2 bronze pillars. Those are still originals of those days.
But they have not been
Here you have a beautiful view. There you see the dome of the famous Church of Our Lady. That's our Protestant church. That was also destroyed completely by bombs during Second World War. So standing here 34 years ago, you couldn't see the dome because the church was still a ruin. And that's where we're gonna end the tour. Well, for me, okay. And from there you get some free time. Everything will be nearby, and then the tour leader from there will take you to the bus, okay? Just to get you orientated, but still we have a little path to go, okay? So follow me. From there you can always come back, you see over there's another entrance. So you can still come back in here and take more pictures. Picture 2,165, 2,156, I'm the same, you know? 50 years ago, when you took pictures, you were always thinking, should I help? Behind you is the Catholic Church. Remember where we started? Just on the opposite side. The ones who, in the free time, you will get, I don't know how much, maybe half an hour, you can go inside the church. The entrance is there where it says A.
It's open.
It's open, okay? Okay. And if you go through that door, you can also exit the other door on the opposite side. When you exit that door, Opera House. So, if this wasn't here, you could see the Opera House, where the bus is picking you up, okay? Also from here, in your free time, you can all go up these stairs onto the biggest part of the old fortification of Dresden still existing today. From there, you have a nice view onto the Elbe River Valley, okay? The ones who can't walk, if you come to the stairs, right-hand side, standing in front of the stairs, there's a lift or elevator. Lift, okay? So first of all, let me go on, and we're going to end next to the church where you get free time, okay? This mural is the longest mural made of ceramic tiles in the world. It's called The Procession of the Princes. It's made of approximately 24,000 tiles. And it's amazing with all the destruction we had here during the Second World War. I showed you the pictures. Only approximately 600 were damaged or broken. From 24,000. 600 approximately. Imagine that the fire raged through this alley like through a chimney. That's just a small amount. Okay. It's called the Procession of the Princes because you're going to see in total 35 rulers of this family that ruled this country for more than 800 years. Underneath each and every ruler, who's always on top of a horse, you're going to read the name, sometimes the nickname people gave them, and the numbers. It's not when they were born or when they died, it's the ruling years. Otherwise, some wouldn't have exited the diapers. We're going to have a closer look at one of them. Guess who? Very good. 5 points for you. Okay, let's go.
Only point. Only point.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Then glued onto the wall.
Okay.
So that's Augustus the Strong. You see his lips? Swollen from kissing too much. So I think with everything that was invented here, maybe even Botox.
He was also like that, huh?
No, he had very sensual lips. But look at his horse. His horse is stepping on something. A rose. What does this rose symbolize? Oh, people always say to me the love, the broken hearts of the ladies. No! Remember what he did in order to be the king of Poland. He converted, he became a Catholic. So in the eyes of the Lutherans, he stepped on their faith. The rose is in the coat of arms of Martin Luther. That's why the artist placed the rose. But always the groups say to me, nah, we prefer to see it as the broken hearts of the ladies. You can interpret it as you wish. But originally it stands for the belief of the Protestants. So.
ডেস্ট্রেন ওল্ড টাউনে চার্চের ভেতরে চার্চের ভেতরে
Der Mittelteil, also alles hinter dem Kneten Christus, ist auch deswegen nicht wieder geschönt worden, also weder bemalt noch vergoldet, sondern so wie es in den Zimmern war.
Weil die erste Kirche, die hier an dieser Stelle gestanden hat, war eine Kirche Maria geweiht. Und dies unter der Lieblingsschau. Und die Sachsen sind die ersten Schafe.
Das ist das Gottesauge, ja, und darüber das gleichzeitige Teil ist die Trinität, also der Vater, Sohn und Heilige Geist. Alles andere außer dem Mittelteil, der war stehen geblieben. Ja, über 2000 Vorteile.
These buildings are all from 20th century. During the establishment of Czechoslovakia, Prague Castle went under many reconstructions, and Czechoslovakian president at the time invited architect from Slovenia, Josip Plečnik, to build this whole place for the president. Nowadays, there's a museum, there's a gallery, but there are also offices of the president. President here works still today, and he has staff of around 300 people. Also, you can notice nowadays there's a flag of Germany, you can see it, but on the left side is another flag. This is flag of the president. It has written Pravda vítězí, that means truth wins. This is his motto. This is motto of a president. And this flag symbolizes his presence. And if you can see the flag now, that means the president is over here in the castle. But if it's not here, that means that president is traveling somewhere else. So this is like a symbol for president. Also, the president has his own house in the garden, so he's pretty much all the time in around this area. Now we will be going to see the cathedral. First, I want to take the tickets for you.
চেক রিপাবলিকে আমরা এখন ক্যাসেল দেখতে এসেছি সিটি ট্যুরে।
लेने का है आप दोनों का
You stand left in the copy.
Prague Castle.
Habsburg monarchy, they ruled from 10th to 13th century, and he was one of the members of the dynasty. He was a Czech ruler, and he was very religious. As a young child, he was raised by his grandmother, Ludmila. She also became a saint later, and she taught him to become Christian, to become good person, and everything. And so he spread Christianity during that time in 10th century, and he was also Czech ruler. He wasn't a much good politician, and many historians say that he wasn't a good ruler because he didn't want to go in war with the German Emperor at the time. And so instead, every year he had to pay him lots of money in order that the Czech kingdom wouldn't be attacked by the Empire. And so after that, his younger brother didn't like his rule. So one day, one morning, when St. Wenceslas went to the church to pray, his brother and his fellows killed him in front of the church. And later, after that, he became a saint, and his brother became a ruler of Czech, not exactly that, but Czech was Principality at the time, but he became a ruler of Czechia, and St. Wenceslas became a saint, and since then he became the most important saint for Czech nation. You can see his statue over there. This statue is in style of Gothic. You can see his symbols. He's wearing a crown, a spike, and a shield. Any walls surrounding the center of Prague. This is basically, if you're over here, you can see the castle and the cathedral. This place is called Prague Castle or Hrabščany. Then the part next to it, this is Mala Strana. It was basically a place where old towns in the town are named because sorry.
চার্চের ভিতরে ব্যাসিলিকা চার্চ ক্যাসেলের ভিতরে
So many. Here later came the biggest flop in the history of Czech Republic. So this is I want to show you, and then you can see this. This is mosaic created by King Charles IV. He was inspired by the Cathedral of St. Mark in Venice, and it shows the last trial. Below you can see in the middle praying King Charles IV with his wife Queen Elizabeth. King Charles IV is the most important ruler in Czech Kingdom. He established the cathedral, he established the Charles Bridge. He also established the first university in the Czech Kingdom and in Central Europe in 14th century. And from that, he also had very interesting personal life. When he was 7, he was brought to the French court to his uncle, who was the French king, and he was baptized there and educated. Through his life, he spoke 5 languages. He spoke Czech, he spoke German, he spoke Italian, he spoke French, and he spoke Latin. And he was very educated and good politician. He was a Czech king, and he was also emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. And from his side, he also had 2 wives. His youngest wife, also his cousin, actually, they got engaged at the age of
Old Royal Palace.
गलियों में ले जाइए ना गया था हाँ तो ये लोग टाइम वेस्ट करें तो अपना जो
very much evolved because it's from 10th century. But the outer part, this part you see over here, the red part, this is from 18th century, made in style Baroque. It was later added to the basilica, and the most important here is the basically symbol of Saint George killing the dragon with his spike. The basilica is dedicated to him, and next to it is a female monastery, which was created in 12th century by one member of Przemysłow's dynasty, Princess Mlada. She brought here the order, Catholic order Benedictines, and she brought females from Benedictine order, and she became the leader of this monastery. Now we are going to enter the basilica, and we will see how it is standing inside the typical.
প্রাগে ব্রিজটা করেছে শুধু হাঁটার জন্য। এখানে দুপাশে অনেক স্কাল্পচার আছে।
Aku Marica.
ואני רוצה לשלם. באמת, תראה, הוא ייצר גם כסף ברקע. תזכור, איזה ספק. נכון? בסדר, אתה רוצה לספרה לך. אוקיי? תזכור, אני רוצה.
Such places were meant for the political opposition of the Nazis. Those would be, for example, communists or Democrats. But when the war started, these places were meant for the people of the occupied nations. So in this case, Auschwitz was created and organized for Polish political prisoners. The name political can be a little misleading because it wasn't about only suspected members of resistance or politicians. Anyone could become a political prisoner in occupied Poland. You could be arrested for having that orchestra.
এটা কনসেন্ট্রেশন ক্যাম্পের কিচেন ছিল।
Every morning as prisoners were going under the gates to work, the majority of them was working outside of the camp, and every evening as food was returning. The Nazis were exploiting the entire families, including children, were deported to Auschwitz, both the Nazis
O, Sasha. गैस चूल्हा है।
Meters, nearly 2 kilometers across, 90,000 prisoners were here, and nearly 300 buildings were built. The oldest part of Birkenau is that one on that side, and that's around 60 brick buildings. Birkenau was just a village before the war, but people living here, they were also removed, their houses were demolished, then bricks were taken, transported here. Those bricks were then reused to create the first part of Birkenau. But because there were still transports coming to this camp, more people, so also new parts of Birkenau were added. And the new parts were on that side, and those were only wooden buildings, like in the first row. But as you can notice when you look around you, we've got many of those remains like chimneys. The chimneys are remains of heating that was inside wooden buildings. Things were needed here, so SS guards that were in charge, they decided that it's easy and also cheap to buy those wooden stables. They transported elements to Birkenau, and then after some modifications, those stables were just made into living quarters or into sanitary buildings like this.
In a second, I will tell you a bit more about that church.
Castle দেখতে এসেছি আমরা।
Even more beautiful. But before we leave, please take a quick look here. Just behind you is located the statue of John Paul II. Yeah. So famous poet from Poland. He was born in another town, Wadowice, but he was living here in Krakow for 40 years. Yeah. So he came here as a young boy when he was 18 to start his studies at the university, and then he was working here as a priest, bishop, archbishop, and in 1978 he became pope. But even being a pope, he visited Krakow. From here you can see perfectly the cathedral, so it's much more beautiful as you can see. We can sum up in one sentence. The most important church in Poland, because of three reasons. First of all, majority of our kings were crowned here. Starting in the year 1320, the tradition to be crowned in Krakow was continued for next 400 years. Then we lost independence and nobody else was crowned. Yeah. Second reason, majority of our kings, queens, royal children are buried inside in that church. They are royal tombs. And the third reason, inside in the church, in the silver coffin, are located the remains, the body of those lived here in 19th century, because the castle was used as barracks, and then museum was opened here in 1918. However, during World War II, when Krakow was under German Nazi occupation, the castle was used by Germans, by the Nazis, as a residence, a villa for Hans Frank, who was Nazi governor, who was responsible for a huge area of occupied space. And then after the war time, the museum was completely demolished. The castle is similar to Italian palaces, yeah? So there is a big courtyard and those balconies with arcades around. It used to be more colorful as well. So you have to use your imagination to see the roofs decorated by colorful tiles, yeah, creating different patterns. The painting obviously used to decorate
ক্যাসেলের পাশে রিভার। রিভারের নাম বিস্তলা। ক্রাকাওতে আমরা ক্রাকাও সিটি সেন্টারে ঘোড়ার গাড়িতে ঘুরছি।
সম্পূর্ণ
You take mine now. Right. Video आएगा?
আমরা আজকে ক্রাকোতে সল্ট মাইন দেখতে এসেছি। সল্ট মাইন দেখে তারপরে আমরা আফটারনুনে ক্রাকো থেকে লাঞ্চ করে তারপর আমরা যাব অস্ট্রিয়ার জেনেভাতে যাব আজকে। এই বাসটা করে আমরা ট্যুর করছি।
पूछ के लिए मना किया है ना और क्या हमने खाएंगे उल्टे खाएंगे और क्या मना किया
I think we can make a few steps forward, so the second part of the group can come here, so they won't stay in the windy corridor. Yes, you know, it is very important because we will have a lot of doors. Doors are for the ventilation, okay? Because we use artificial ventilation here. We've got an inhale and exhale shaft to provoke circulation, natural circulation. So we need to close the first door to open the other. If you open two doors at the same time, you'll cause sudden draft and lower levels won't be ventilated properly. That's why we need to close the first door to open the other. So like here, please hold this door and come with me.
সল্ট মাইনের ভেতরে আমরা লিফটে করে নেবে এখন যাচ্ছি আরো নিচে নামতে হবে সিঁড়ি করে
So ladies and gentlemen, this salt mine is over 700 years old. Everything here started in the 13th century. But we'll be walking through the chambers and the corridors from the 17th to the 20th century. And today I won't show you any huge machinery. We don't have anything like that. Everything was excavated by hand. Miners used just simple tools, pickaxes, hammers, chisels. You can imagine pneumatic drills, gunpowder. That is the beginning of the 20th century. Before that, everything was excavated by hand. Hold the door. Szula chamber from the 17th century. What is interesting, in Poland, every female name needs to end with letter A. Like here is Urszula, my name is Kamila, there is also like Karolina, Isabella, always A at the end, okay? Lala, yes. Oh, you see, it could be also registered in Lala because Rosario?
Rosario, Michelangelo, Othello.
Oh no, these are men, right? Okay, but you know, I will tell you something. During the pandemic times, during the COVID times, people went crazy, right? And machines were usually made out of wood, right? So salt preserves wood very well, but it causes metal corrosion. So we don't have many metal parts. The machines were made out.
আমাদের ঢেকির মতো
In 1978, Virichka was entered into the
সল্ট মাইন এখন ওয়ার্ল্ড হেরিটেজ সাইট ডিক্লেয়ার
the very
হয়েছে
first list. There were only 12 sites. Two things from Poland, Virichka and Krakow's old town. So that was 1978, the very first list.
এখন iPhone, huh? iPhone, huh?
All around you in this place, you know, you can lick it. You can lick 2 kilograms of salt per person because it is included in the price of your tickets. Just 2 kilograms.
And can cook?
2 kilograms, you've got 2 hours for this. Yeah, so you can do it with your
Salted
fingers or
crust.
straight with your tongue. It's better to do it with your tongue.
We have something called Himalayan pink salt.
Himalayan salt, the healthiest salt around the world, right?
That is very good also pink salt.
Yes, because it has the micro elements.
But sodium required for the body.
Little bit.
Yes.
Too much will be
সাদাগুলো সল্ট
সবটাই সল্ট সল্ট ট্রাস্ট everything is salt trust
সব সল্ট
This is the 20th century. Because we rebuilt the tourism we rebuilt it at the beginning of the 20th century. So it's not that old. But later I show you the
construction from the 18th century. Okay? Yeah, but I will tell you later how salt appeared in here. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you something more about our deposit. So let's go to the next corridor. Okay, this way. And I will show you some crystals. So please come this way.
Crystals, salt crystals.
There was a sea actually. So let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, yes.
So from geology, we call this salt green or gray. Because when you look at it, it looks gray.
Salt
right?
and critical mineral also.
It has minerals, but you know, pure salt with no minerals is transparent, okay? 100% pure salt is transparent. Then, with some impurities, like minerals, it has different colors. Gray, green, or even pink, as some of you mentioned Himalayan salt, right? Because of the number of microelements, it has the pink color. But this one, you see, we say that it is 95% pure sodium chloride, and it has only 5% of different impurities. But when you crush it down, it's going to be as white as yours at home in shakers. So ladies and gentlemen, 13 million years ago, in the Miocene period, there was a sea in this area. At that time, there was also very hot climate, so water started to evaporate and salt deposits started to sedimentate at the bottom of the sea. Then the mountains, Carpathian mountains, began to uplift and they pushed the salt deposit into smaller area and then folded it underground. That's why today we've got salt in here. But in the next chamber, I will play you a very beautiful and romantic legend that tells kind of a different version about how salt appeared in here. So after listening to the legend, you can choose which one you like more, okay? So the legend tells about Princess Kinga from Hungary, Polish Prince Bolesław, and a magic ring. That we have salt in here, okay? So please enjoy.
How can I take it with me to Poland? I thought, while looking at a salt mine that my father gave me as a wedding gift. I left my homeland for Krakow, where I was to marry Prince Bolesław. My father, the King of Hungary, wanted to give me gold and jewels, but I asked him for salt. They have no salt in Poland, I explained to my father, and thus I was given an entire salt mine and a dozen miners. What was I supposed to do with the gift? Suddenly, a strange thought occurred to me. I came to the mine shaft, took off my engagement ring, and threw it into the mine. When we arrived to Poland, I asked the miners to look for salt. They came back a few days later. The oldest of them approached me. He held a small lump of salt in one hand, and my engagement ring in the other.
Enjoyed it. You need to take it with a pinch. Your story has more credibility. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, you know everything here is salt, but this is a secondary crystallization. When salt water evaporates, then this secondary crystallization grows. Any idea what miners call it? What is it similar to? When you look at it, you think about satellite. No, not snow.
Butter, cheese.
Cottage cheese. Some kind of a vegetable. Cauliflower. We call it cauliflower. Yes.
Or you can say garlic also.
Beautiful. Oh, garlic.
Garlic is cauliflower. Garlic ಒಂದು ದಪ್ಪ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಫ್ಲವರ್
Is by the excavation of salt. So miners had to burn it out every day before their work and after their work. But sometimes too much of it accumulated in one place, one chamber, and they didn't know about it. There was the accident, explosion. So now please stay still. I will show you what it was during the
Salt. Salt is the rock, salt. It crystallized, didn't it? Diamond crystallized.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the bust of the King Casimir the Great, who ordered to write down the tax rights for village miners. In old times, you can imagine salt was extremely precious, very important. But do you know what the people do with salt in the past that it was called like white gold? Why was it so important, very expensive? What did they do with salt? Do they have refrigerators, electricity?
Yes.
No, that was not. Preservation. Exactly. Preservation, conservation. That's why it was called like white gold. And have a look here. These are two original blocks of salt. If you sold one of them, you had as much money as you could buy a village. Imagine how important and precious the salt was. And when miners in the center they started big blocks of salt from walls, then by saying that it was sedimentary. Do you know why they were shaping salt this way? So, ladies and gentlemen, these are important. Exactly, they were just rolling the barrels with wooden sticks, then post to the places where the shops were, and then in the shops using the machine like this one, because the machine was working here on the ground and also on the surface, they were taking everything back to the surface. Okay?
How this ceiling is supporting that one? It will not fall?
It won't fall. No,
It is like a rock.
It's like a rock, yes. It does not support. It's like this. It's very solid.
It's a cave-like situation.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ladies, you come
Many workforce.
Workforce, yeah. The biggest number of miners working here was right before the Second World War. That was 2,000.
Per day.
Employed.
2,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6,000 years ago, people who lived in Velička, in this area, knew how to produce salt because there were salt springs on the surface. So they were collecting water into special containers just to get rid of the impurities. And then they were just boiling the water over the fire. Be gradually exhausted, people just started digging deeper and deeper for more salt water. And in fact, 64 meters below the surface, they discovered the first piece of the rock salt. So in the 13th century, they also created first shafts, and now we've got salt mine. That's why we say that this place is over 700 years old, because everything here started in the 13th century. Okay?
Go.
Let's go.
Slowly.
She's telling about the rock salt and lava salt. She's telling about the rock salt.
আমরা এখন সিঁড়ি দিয়ে নিচে নামছি মাইনের ভেতরে।
It's a very good cardio. You will burn 500 calories. Really? Yes. So we are walking 12, 14 kilometers. So how many? Than the museum. But in the museum they have crystals from here because back, many years ago, we were under division of 3 nations, and this part was under Austria division, and they came here, they were administrating salt mine, and they discovered crystal grottos. So 2 naturally formed caves underground filled with crystals, and they took the crystals with them to the Vienna Museum.
Oh, so if we go there, we'll see.
You see the stairs? You see the stairs? Miners had to walk on these steps in the 18th century. So if anyone is complaining about our steps, we always show this. Let's go, let's go!
Hold on, please. Yeah, we are there. You cannot be that fast.
We will wait on the next level. We'll wait at this. We'll wait. No. We're taking an elevator on the way back.
জলটা আসছে, এটা সল্ট ওয়াটার সল্ট মাইনে এসেছে।
Which one?
This one. Right side. आएगा ये पूरा
ನೀವು ಬನ್ನಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜನ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ತೆಗೀರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಫೋಟೋ
No.
ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಾಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಾ ಲೈಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ರಿ
ವಾಟರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
ಹೌದು, ನೀರದು.
ಹೌದಾ?
ನೀರು ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು, ಸ್ವಿಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಯಾರು ಮುಳುಗಲ್ಲ.
ಓಹೋ, ಹೌದು. ಇವ್ರು ಹಾಕಿರೋದಾ ಅದು ಇರೋದಾ? ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
I didn't know.
The calf muscles are second. Do this.
It's called peripheral heart, and if you stretch and you do little cycling after, that sends back to the heart.
Otherwise it gathers here by
So
gravity.
I need to tell you, like, because you remember we took the elevator, right? But usually we walked 400 stairs in the shaft. So yeah, sometimes when I've got a break from this work and I come back, I always feel like in the house.
Every day?
Yeah, like, you know, we work every day. Where is the leader? Oh, here is the leader, second leader. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Warsaw Chamber, like the capital of Poland, right? This is the chamber that we can use for any occasion, from like dancing competitions to boxing night. Actually, a boxing night is an annual event we organize here, and wedding receptions as well. So you can have like a, you know, wedding ceremony in the chapel, then people come here for the wedding reception. Yes, and this is very special to me because a few years ago I had my prom night here. Because I graduated from high school in
permanent bridge connecting the two individual separated cities at that time. That was constructed in 1849, 20 years later. The St. Margaret Bridge was constructed, and having two bridges, then the leaders of the city decided to unite. So in 1873, Buda and Pest were united, having two bridges by that time, and resulted in the birth of the name Budapest. Okay, before that they had been two separate cities. We will see why. And everybody's talking about Buda, but Pest is even closer. However, we will enter the territory of the post-ancient time of Budapest, the city of Aquincum, which was established by the ancient Romans. The western part of the Carpathian Basin was mentioned by the ancient Romans 2000 years ago, Pannonia. Pannonia, okay, normally we Hungarians sometimes want to understand for the complete Hungary, but that's not only the western part, because the river Danube, right of yours, was forming a natural border of the northern province of the ancient Roman Empire, Pannonia. They erected fortresses to defend this land, the northern province of the ancient Romans, especially in the 5th century, when Attila, have you heard about this name?
The Hun,
greatest emperor of the Huns, enlarged his empire and reached the eastern part of the large one, the right ruins of the Aquincum thermal waters. And shortly, even today, we are calling this district, however, this region is forming one part of Old Buda. In our language, old, as we are saying, O Buda. Only one letter O Buda, since this is the, and left side you can see the second half of the 19th century, we have 9 suburban train lines. Even in Gödöllő, tomorrow we'll go to the horsemanship show, which is in the neighborhood of the city of Gödöllő, then also. After we had got back our freedom in our hands in 1990, those apartment prices collapsed. So nobody wanted to live in these apartments, sold it at a very, very cheap price, and all the people. Okay? Any question? Because I'm talking at that.
No question, but one request.
Okay, thank you very much.
In the main square, I was talking of where you can see the cross, point of orientation, if you are, and always on the street, way down till the letter Y junction, the right branch. I'll just follow the riverside. If you want to go down to the riverside, go to the left and keep on walking down to the riverside. That is the Serbian. On the other side of that street, the Greek quarter. The town hall is a wide building in that direction going up, and if you want to go up to the Roman Catholic Church, you will see a very narrow street on the left side, and you can go up. Okay? Mercipe Museum is in that direction, about 100 meters walking on the left side.
এখানে গ্রিক অর্থোডক্স চার্চ আছে, পাশে দানিউব রিভার। এখানে আমরা একটা স্কোয়ারে এসেছি।
Bus stand 1150.
Castles and fortresses by 2030-35.
বুদাপেস্টে আমরা
Like before the
ভিলেজের দিকে
destruction.
যাচ্ছি।
That's why we are calling it Lost
ওখানে
City
আমরা
as
লোকাল
well.
লাঞ্চ করব।
And by political point of view, it is very important that we is symbolizing the times of King Matthias, who used to be the second most non-Renaissance king of Europe in the 15th century. So while even the waiters and the pages were dressed according to the fashion of the 15th century, you will have a torturing chair, you can try it, and then you can make or shoot photographs. However, the landscape where we will sit in the restaurant situation is at the riverside, so while you will have a glance by from panoramic grab in the Lost City.
দানিউব রিভার।
So the restaurant is on the left side, and after lunch we will return to the bus, and then we will be taken by the bus to the place of the night tournament. So well, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the lunch, enjoy the food. If you have any questions, remarks, comments, just don't hesitate to raise me then. Thank you.
এখানে আজকে আমরা লোকাল লাঞ্চ করব দানিউব রিভারের ধারে লোকাল রেস্টুরেন্টে।
The museum we are today, that's amazing.
এখন আমরা পাহাড়ের উপরে ক্যাসলে যাচ্ছি।
Step by step. Okay. Yeah.
Inside the forest, okay? So better, that's why bus will get down. So from there only we go again down. So we don't have to climb back again. So it's very easy to go down. Okay? Got the point? So no climbing, just go down.
পাহাড়ের উপরে ক্যাসেল দেখতে এসেছি। এদিকে কিন্তু মেয়ে, ওখানে কিন্তু মেয়ে ছিল না। এই দুজন আলাদা।
bomb this building, yes. Namaste. Welcome everyone, please join me. Okay, it's nice and chill. They will come. They will start here. Sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you here inside the Solomon Tower, the lower castle of Visegrad, which was originally built in the 13th century, together with the citadel, the upper castle, which is located on the top of the hill. This building and that one, they were connected by a wall. The wall started at the hilltop. It's coming next to us. We actually crossed it through the gate, and this wall went down to the Danube River. And with this whole construction, we could completely close down the valley of Visegrad, where you came from right now, from originally from the Mongols. The Mongols, the troops of Genghis Khan and Baku Khan, they were attacking Hungary in the 13th century. So this is why they built different fortresses in Hungary, including this one here in Visegrad. Now, funnily enough, by the time they finished the construction here, the Mongols were not in Hungary anymore, so this fortress became practically useless at the time because there was nothing happening in Visegrad. But for about 100 years, it was completely empty. And then, in the 14th century, in 1323, we had a new king who moved with his family to Visegrad, and his name was King Carlo Roberto. And with his arrival, our town, Visegrad, this royal order was originally established by King Carlo Roberto back in 1326, and it was the first royal order in Europe. The order was operating during the Middle Ages, and it was refounded here in Visegrad in 1990. By today, they have more than 400 members who work in 3 divisions. There's a scientific division, a charity division, and a military division. Today, you are going to see a presentation of the military division here within the walls of the lower castle of Visegrad. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad. Now, there is one more thing before we start. We need to have a king and a queen overseeing the tournament. So I would like to ask you, is there anyone who wants to be the king and the queen? You want to be the queen, very good, and then you also need a gentleman to be the king. Anybody volunteering?
I don't want to be king.
Sir, you want to be the king, I see? Okay, very good. Then we have the king and the queen. Ready? It's very nice to have volunteers. We are going to get them dressed. Just need to... The hat, we are going to change the hat, sir, to a different headwear. Yeah, I see. Yeah, well, different continent, but that's fine, yeah. Goodness can stay. The hat needs to go. Her Majesty is ready. I'd like to ask you to come in the middle, please, over here. In the middle here, please. Your Majesty. Over here, very good. Her Majesty on the other side, please. On the other side, just like that. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for the King and Queen of Visegrad. I would like to ask the royalties now to take a short walk around in front of the subjects and then walk to the throne chair, please. Very nice, and I have a question to the royalties now. Now that they became decision makers, they need to make a decision about who is going to be punished from the audience. So please help me. Who can be picked for a little bit of punishment? I will suggest the king only. That should be. Who was fighting in the morning? Where is the lady? Tell me. Help me.
Fight in the bus.
Who was it?
Fight in the bus. I was not fighting there.
Yeah. Oh, you can fight. Go there. Go for a second. See?
We can also punish the king.
So we need you to join us here for a second.
No democracy here.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'd like to ask the lady to join us. It's very good that you have sunshades because we have a special seat for you, ma'am. Just right here next to her. Yes, it's going to be fine. Sit down. Listen, it's very comfortable. You see? Yeah. No, I'm not. You can take a seat. It's fine. Trust me. Can you lean back a little bit? Enjoy the view from here. Just kidding. Sit down there. Okay, very good. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we also need one person who's got a good sense of humor. Somebody who is funny enough to entertain. Yeah, well, the king is, but we need somebody else too. Your Majesty, could you please pick someone who's got a good sense of humor? Lorena. I'd like to ask Lorena to join us. It's going to be nice. You don't have to sit in a chair like this. Okay, very good. Then you need to sit down here in front of the royalties. You can sit in the shades too.
You are awarded.
Please take your seat, and we have a hat for you too. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, the royal court is complete. Let me ask Your Majesty, can we let the lady go, or should she sit back? Okay, that's very generous. And thank you very much for your contribution. Your Majesty, now that the royal court is complete, I would like to ask you to officially open the tournament, please, with a few words.
Okay, let the show begin. Okay.
Door! Opa!
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say a big thank you to the members of the St. George Order of Language. And we would like to express our gratitude to the King, the Queen, and the Court Jester as well. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be your turn, as I promised you, to try the weapons with the knights. So I would like to ask you to join us. You can shoot with bows and arrows here. You can try battle stars here, and you can also take a photo, a snap, with the hope against flying during the tournament. I would like to ask everyone to stand up and join us, please, while we're in the tournament arena. And we let the King and the Queen go as well. And the Jester as well. Thank you.
There is an entry ticket for that, which I will buy. Okay. And we'll have, of course, testing also there. Once we test, then we'll climb 200 steps. Then only you will be able to climb, I mean, if you try that.
Agreed.
Very fast.
That you'll be able to climb the steps fast.
বুদাপেস্টে দানিউব নদীর ধার দিয়ে আমরা বাসে করে যাচ্ছি।
So not a museum. The people are having apartment behind you in those houses, if they have a lot of money, I mean, it is meaning a rank in a Hungarian society to have a real estate inside the Buda Castle. You can imagine why. It cannot be neither smaller nor wider. Here in Vienna, that is deriving from Hungary, produced in a more than 100-year-old manufacturer, the Zsolnai porcelain manufacturer. That is the building, the Hungarian Archive. The town hall is a little bit newer building, going back to the end of the 18th century. This is the place. That's where that lady is governing the district number 1, which is the historical district. We will walk on this street, reaching the Matthias Church. It is the Holy Spirit, which is the evaporation of the Spirit of the God, and everyone will be with the hand. These statues of such you will find on the territory of all the Habsburg monarchy, okay? Why? In the 18th century, a lot of people became the victim of the Black Death, a plague. Even Buda Castle, after the siege in 1686, a lot of uncovered bodies were lying alone, resulting in an outbreak of the Black Death, the plague, the pistis. What happened, I mean, when the plague went away, the people to give honor to the god erected these statues, not only in the Buda Castle but in all places when the plague was over, or at least avoided the district. They were very honorful, very grateful. That's the reason why polytrinity statues have been erected or were erected in the territory of the Austrian Habsburg Hungarian monarchy. Church behind me. No, first the building behind you, okay? That is the Ministry of Finance, building, and was before the war, used to be before the war. Destroyed completely, then 8 years have passed, and on the basis of the program, that will be given back to the city. Okay? That's the reason, just about to finish. Maybe, I mean, they are going to finish in 2-3 days by the Chinese Prime Minister right at the hotel.
Same construction? Same model?
Yes.
বুদাপেস্ট ক্যাসেল থেকে দানিউব রিভার, बुदापेस्ट शहर।
जो लोग ब्रिज ने बड्डू जावे जा
बेटा
एक काम करो તમે રહ્યો ને હા હા મારા બે વચ્ચે ઘોડો છે
বুদাপেস্টে আমরা সিটি ট্যুরে বেরিয়েছি। আমরা এখন হিরো স্কোয়ারে
riding championship.
Magyarország a fogathajtás egyik európai fellépője. A Lázár lovaspart tulajdonosai, a Lázár fivérek 21-szeres világbajnokok ebben a sportban.
The Hungarian rider's most feared weapon was the bow and arrow. It was with this weapon and their brilliant riding skills that they roamed all over Europe. It's no wonder why the people of Western nations
Magyarországon a 890-es években érkeztek a magyarok. Természetesen mint lovák. A lovas magyarok legrettegettebb fegyvere az íj volt. Ezzel a fegyverrel és remek lovas tudásukkal kalandoztak egész Európában. Ekkor született meg, és vált a nyugati népek ajkán szállóigévé a fohász. A magyarok nyílaitól ments meg, uram minket!
In the olden days, the Chicos rode the horse without a saddle, or with a saddle that wasn't strapped to the horse. Because if the herd was frightened, then they'd have to leave immediately, and there was no time for them to saddle up.
Jöjjenek most a puszták bajnokai, a csikósok, akik a több száz lóból álló méreseket őrizték, terelték, gondozták. Régen a csikós nyereg nélkül vagy olyan nyereggel lovagolt, ami nem volt a lóhoz rögzítve. Hiszen ha megriadt a ménes, azonnal indulni kellett, nem volt idő a nyergelésre.
In olden times, if someone was approaching, it was best to hide until you could see whether it was a friend or an enemy.
Régen, ha idegenek tűntek fel a távolban, célszerű volt elrejtőzni, amíg ki nem derült, hogy barát vagy ellenség közeledik-e.
After work, it is always sweet to rest. The Chicos would lie down on his horse and use it as a comfortable pillow or bed.
Munka után édes a pihenés. Csikósaink leheverednek lovaikra, mintha csak egy kényelmes ágyba feküdnének.
The training of the horses always went according to everyday requirements, but the Chicos often taught their horses some unusual tricks that only they could do.
A lovak idomítása a mindennapi élet követelményei szerint történt, de gyakran olyanokra is megtanították lovukat, amikre csak a csikósok voltak képesek.
The Chicos became an excellent cavalryman. They would braid the whip from 6 to 8 leather straps, with the lower third consisting of one piece of leather to which they attach the snapper that gives the cracking sound. The braided part is attached to the short wooden handle by a ring.
A csikósokból kellett kiváló lovascsatornák váltak. Az ostort 6-8 szál bőrszívból fogják. Az alsó harmada egy szál, és erre kötik a dur alól hangot adó csapó. A fonott rész karikával csatlakozik a fából készült rövényével.
According to the rules of the plains, 2 or more chicos sheep shepherds are way down in the ranks of animal herders, just barely above pig shepherds. They could not afford a horse or an oxen cart, but a donkey was more than welcome to lead their peacefully grazing flock. The Chicos looked down on the sheep shepherds, and not only because they sat much lower than the Chicos, but the sheep shepherds always tried to prove that they too by only one Chicos. 100 years later, in the 1950s, a Hungarian Chicos named Béla Leonard saw this picture and decided to train his horses and make this dream come true.
Amit itt látnak, az bizony nem álom, hanem a posztalépés. Pedig álomnak indult. Ludwig Hoch osztrák festő rajzolta meg először egy álomképét. Pusztában változó ugróról és az őket állva hajtó csikósokról. Majd 100 évvel később, az 1950-es évek elején Lénárd Béla, egy Magyar Hölgyeim és Uraim kedves vendégeim, köszönjük, hogy jelenlétükkel megtisztelték bemutatót. Most búcsúznak fel. Még szeretnének közösségképpen részletek a műsorok szereplőivel. Itt a pályaszélén a biztonságuk érdekében.
Danube River. আজকে আমরা ক্রুজে ডিনার করবো দানিউব রিভারে।
Electrical motor lamination, stamping, sheet and sheet, space and roll, extra sheet and electrical lamination. Special lamination.
Gothic style.
Parliament House.
No, where? Okay, so we'll see where we can get down near the bridge, because little bit to drop to get down near the pier is very complicated here in Budapest. So I'll see where I can drop.
Budapest to Danube River.
We'll wait there.
Cruise.
जैसे बोट आती है, शायद से बोट वहीं पे होगी. As I said, it's I'll explain once we are on the boat. Of course, dinner is Indian ही है. लेकिन थोड़ा सा welcome drinks वगैरह we'll have. You will have.
Vienna also, Prague also. They're also same. Charles Bridge. This is not the same river. Floyd.
This is the parliament.
Looks something similar, no? The bridges.
You know, this on the right hand side, keep looking to the right side. I'm going to stop here. There you can see there are shoes here. See the shoes. See, there are many shoes here. So this was built, erected in 2005. You know, many Jews were actually, concentration camp we saw in Krakow. So from here, during the World War, it was told to them that there is a ship coming which will take them to Krakow for their new colony, and they just many thousands of Jews were waiting here, and they all were shot from behind at this spot. So that's why in just memory of these Jews they built this shoes on the river.
They were short. I think this will sail further down, huh? It looks like that.
Okay, stay in the bus 2 minutes. We'll be back. There are different beers here.
এই ব্রিজটা বুদা এবং পেস্ট দুটো শহরকে জয়েন করেছে এই ব্রিজটার মধ্যে।
Croatia. It's less than 1 million. It's around 900. Entire country it's 3.9 million. So 1/4 of population is in Zagreb. This is the downtown, and behind you that's our main railway station right there. From here we are going to go to the city center around
15 এসেছি সিটি ট্যুর করছি।
There we are going to visit the upper town, and that will take around 2 hours. And after that we will have your free.
Art Pavilion in Zagreb. ক্রোয়েশিয়ার জাগ্রেবে সিটি ট্যুর করছি।
আপনি নিয়ে কোনো তারা
শহরের মডেল পুরো এটা আপার টাউন, এদিকটা হচ্ছে লোয়ার টাউন। হ্যাঁ,
forest there is a boat ride also. So all this is together. So very important, when we get down we need to carry a water bottle, if snacks, something. As I said, there is a restaurant open now. It was not there before COVID, well, even before that. But as per guide, not sure they have vegetarian burger, vagara, everything else. So we will see, but we will have free time inside. Now, very important thing is someone, see, it's around 4 to 5 kilometer walk inside. It's one way. Then, see now up to there, some up and down. It's not a straight walk. Okay, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे है चढ़ना, because inside the forest. Now,
नेशनल फॉरेस्ट।
please pay attention. थोड़ा जरा later on बात कर सकते हैं हम, please.
ওয়ার্ল্ড হেরিটেজ লিস্টে ন্যাশনাল পার্ক আছে।
The waterfalls and cascades.
ফরেস্টের ম্যাপ।
All together in the park is 92 waterfalls and only 6 of them have a name. And actually all this water here comes from 2 rivers called Black and White rivers. So that 2 rivers together creates this lake, and the water from here goes all the way down until that area. So this part we call Sastavci, or meeting point, because the big waterfall meets the water from the lakes, and then they together continue to the river Korana. So later Korana flows to Kupa, Kupa to Sava.
ক্রোয়েশিয়ায় আমরা এখন ন্যাশনাল ফরেস্টে এসেছি। এখানে ন্যাচারাল ফলস,
ವೈಫೈ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಾ एक मिनट
ন্যাশনাল ফরেস্টে ঢুকছি।
One second. मेरा भी एक है आफ्टर हर्स मेरा भी एक
ওই ফলসটাই নিচের থেকে দিচ্ছি।
ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ.
Come. Jacqueline.
कहाँ पर? ये वाटरफॉल लेना है।
ফরেস্টের মধ্যে বোটে করে অন্য সাইডে যাচ্ছি। তোমার Croatia National Forest.
That's my problem. Vaishali, where are your glasses?
Le castor, le Ah, moi ça m'angoisse. Et toi
আমরা এখন এই কেভে যাব স্লোভেনিয়াতে। কেভের মধ্যে আমরা প্রথমে ট্রেনে যাব, এরকম ট্রেনে যাব, তারপরে 2 কিলোমিটার আপ অ্যান্ড ডাউন হাঁটা, তারপরে আবার ট্রেনে করে ফেরা।
Circle after circle, of course, because they are empty inside. There's a hole. In comparison with stalagmites, which grow from the ground up, which are full, kind of compact. And so the up we have stalactites, and from the ground up, let me just take out my light. Where is it? There we go. So we have stalactites and stalagmites, yeah? And then when these spedal taps, as we call them, are joined together, they form a column, which we can see further down along the way a little bit more, okay? Let's say that to grow approximately 1 centimeter, it takes approximately 100 years to grow, okay? So you can imagine there is a lot of history here. Then you can see also different colors, white, orange, red. White is mostly pure calcite, red spedal taps have iron oxides or clay, and we have also brown, which have mostly manganese oxides, which is darker color and hydroxide. So you probably want So you will notice that the pathway is not slippery, so you can walk courageously. So I don't wait for you too much, okay? Thank you.
हाँ
सब लाइन से कितना सुंदर
मैं आगे जाऊँ जाओ
নিয়ে নাও তো সবাই চলে গেলে আপনি কখন নেবেন কিন্তু ধাক্কা খেয়ে যাবে ছবি তুলে ভেরি ফাস্ট নিতে হবে এত মানুষ হাঁটছে
One more thing, as we continue, we will see on the left side the Leaning Tower of Pisa again. We will go under the Russian bridge, and then we will see the symbol of Postojna cave. There will be two spele totems, one from pure calcite, all white, the second one with a lot of different colors, a little darker one. It's called the column. Very simple. But the oldest spele totems have approximately half a million years. Okay, let's go forward.
Ça ressemble pas à la et non. Oui, le blanc.
You want cinematic? Photo.
Photo.
Apart from Hungary, you will get that.
আমরা এখন স্লোভেনিয়ায় বিকেলবেলায় স্কোয়ারে এসেছি স্লোভেনিয়াতে আমরা বিকেলে বেরিয়েছি ক্যানেলে ক্রুজ চলছে
अपने तो नदी नाली बनाते
স্লোভেনিয়ার লেক ব্লেডে আমরা এখন বোটে করে যাচ্ছি। লেকের মধ্যে একটা আইল্যান্ড আছে, সেই আইল্যান্ডে আমরা
নিচে নামাও না।
हमारी फोटो खींचना, हम आपकी खींचेंगे। ओके।
I must take the romance photo. That is the most important.
सर आप एक काम करो ना, आप इधर आओ, मैं उधर आता हूँ ना।
अभी उठा नहीं जाएगा।
আমাদের আরেকটা গ্রুপের বোট।
ওটা তো বারুন। ছবি তোলা যাওয়া হয়ে গেছে।
आज आज 2500 છે લેક પર જવાનું છે
લેક જ છે
નહીં ચાલવાનું કંઈ કરવાનું
ફોન લગાડો સાંજે પહોંચી ત્યાં આગળ
এখানে কিন্তু একটা এরা কিন্তু লাইফ জ্যাকেট পরানো
खूब ये मंदिर है यहाँ पर मंदिर
আমাদের দেশে
नहीं चर्च
ये चर्च है हम तो मंदिर ही कहेंगे हाँ मंदिर
खूब बड़ा ये रहा ना ये
तभी हंसी पे करो
वो अंबिया से लेना फोटो सबको
देखना
ना ना ठीक है
नहीं है ना देखना
मैं ना दुनिया में
To enter, you can ring the wishing bell. So there was a legend. One woman was living in the castle of Bled, and one night in one fight, the husband was killed. So this woman loved her husband a lot, and so she decided to do something good for him. She took all the gold from the castle in order to make a bell, to put it here in the island. When they were bringing the bell, it was a storm.
yes Valentine थोड़ा पीछे
স্লোভেনিয়াতে লেক ব্লেড লেকের মধ্যে একটা আইল্যান্ড আছে, আইল্যান্ডে চার্চ আছে। আমরা বোটে করে আইল্যান্ডে এসেছি।
बाद में भी मालूम इसको जॉब नहीं उसको एमएस करने के लिए उसके भाई ने कनाडा एंड नाउ ही इज इन पब्लिक पॉलिसी बट ही इज नॉट डूइंग वेरी गुड इससे 5 मिनट के लिए रिंग बजना हार्डी कितनी आशुनी
ফোকর দিয়ে দেখা যাচ্ছে হ্যাঁ ক্লিয়ার তো না
স্লোভেনিয়ার লেক ব্লেড স্লোভেনিয়ার লেক ব্লেডে আমরা এখন ট্যুর করছি। আমরা এরকম বোটে করে এসেছি, ওপরে চার্চ আছে।
Thank you.
তুমি একটু এগিয়ে এসো।
Please move that side. Please move. थोड़ा आगे चलिए please. Keep moving.
हमारा आगे जाते हैं।
ना ना अपना ना
बस बस।
No, we have to 2/20 here. Please move that side.
आरो छोड़ते হবে
20 here, 20. इसमें 25 का ट्रेन।
बहुत गरम हो रहा है, इसको ले लो।
दो लोग बैठ सकते हैं फ्रंट में
जाओ तुम ওখানে যাও। কিচ্ছু হবে না, ওখানে যাও সেফ। इधर सेफ है।
आपको नहीं जाना है मैं चली जाऊँ
हाँ। रेणु इधर बैठो।
आजा रेणु आजा इधर आगे
All ladies
अभी
together.
इधर से हमारी फोटो लो धूप है ना
हाँ। All ladies together. दीदी इधर ताकना, इधर ताकना।
इधर देखो
আমি তো ছবি তুলে নিচ্ছি ওই জন্য।
I'm not taking like the rest. I see, no? 1, 2, 3.
हाँ
Photo rallies.
या 1 2 गीता
3.
हम तीनों का एक दूसरे को ले लेते हैं
I'm not one of those. 1, 2, 3 pictures.
आप इधर की लो, हम इधर की लेते हैं।
They are taking 3000.
अभी रुक जाओ ना पहले हम
And do what with
ले लेते हैं।
ऐसा नहीं है जिसको जो शौक हो वो करे
करना definitely.
किसी को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करना चाहिए ये तो ऐसा है
ये सब मैं भी ऐसे ही।
दोनों का ऐसा है
लेकिन बाद में क्या होता है मालूम है?
वो हम खींचते हैं हाँ
Yesterday is asking you told not to take, so I didn't take. एक भी फोटो नहीं है पूछ रहा है।
हमारे इनको भी ऐसा ही है
छोटे भाई की 5-6 फोटो।
देखो ये इसको ब्यूटी देखने का है। देखे इसको।
देखते रहना।
I'll take one very close. I'll take one little background. This is beautiful.
I'll tell him 15 minutes.
আমরা এখন অস্ট্রিয়ার সালজবার্গে আছি, সিটি ট্যুর করতে বেরিয়েছি।
Wait here, I'll just.
वेट करो
वेट करो उधर।
ये थोड़ी है
हाँ बैग अंदर ले।
मेरी अंदर आ गया
The emperors of Vienna were the new rulers before the big competitors, and then nowadays we are in a republic, an airplane republic. So
In the museum, what is there in the museum?
About the history, it's closed at the moment. They are rebuilding, but history from Salzburg.
Not any Mozart's work.
No.
Mozart's-
Later on we are going to see
No.
Mozart's house. Yes, exactly. But this Mozart statue you have passed already. Mozart Square. This is Residence Square. 5 squares around the church. Mozart Square. I'm sorry. The statue was inaugurated 50 years after his death. Did you see Vienna as well?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Vienna.
That harmony.
Sorbonne Palace. Mozart is buried in Vienna.
Vienna.
35 years old, he died in Vienna. His last 10 years he was over there. But 50 years later, this statue was inaugurated. His 2 sons were here. The wife
Our guide,
lived inside the
Elisabeth.
brown building. The widow, she survived Wolfgang over 50 years long. €5 entrance. But it's closing around 5. What's the time now?
Bishop Church,
It's maybe closed already later on, but you have seen beautiful churches.
সালজবার্গের রেসিডেন্স স্কোয়ারে।
Exactly. So, but this is the parish church. Every Sunday, free mass is going on inside.
3 golden numbers above the entrance because this is the third church and this is what. The very first one was fixed, I'm sorry, now it's a pyramid. The golden numbers may be hard to read in 774. 1,000 years the first church was fixed here. The middle date here, 1628, is the age of this church. 400 years old, 400 years old. And why such a young date? You see there is a young number here, 1959. To the right, you see? Yeah. But to the right it says 1959. Even this church was hit by a bomb in 1944, Second World War. We are close to the German border. To Eagle's Nest of Hitler. Ever heard? From the Commander Central, it's only half an hour away from here. We're very close, and Hitler arrived many times here by train and then moved on to Germany. The Eagle's Nest, they bought refugees around here, that's why Salzburg was so understandable. So to walk inside the church, like a round trip, 1 hour round trip. All treasures from the former church.
মিউজিয়াম সামনের বিল্ডিংটা।
Sorry, I have joined a bit late. You have told about this, no?
Not yet.
Oh.
We are coming back later.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I just want to show you this square, then we come out.
Hans.
It's very steep, so better for the knees to take the train. Right? No, not together, we don't go together. If you wish to go with the tour, you could, 2 minutes you would reach the box office. It would cost 14 euros. 14 euros to go and come. Yeah, so when you turn around, you take the
From here is better view.
Statue of Mother Mary.
No.
If the weather is good, everybody hoping that the weather is good.
এখানে মোজার্টের কনসার্ট হতো।
A religious play, a drama, named 15 times during a play. Yeah, 15 times during the 6 weeks. It's a famous acoustic, famous play.
What is the name of the drama?
Every man. And if it's raining, you have to leave.
সাউন্ড অফ দ্য মিউজিক সিনেমার শুটিংটা এখানেই হয়েছিল।
Alaska, what is this name? What is this building called?
This is cathedral.
And what are the statues of?
Virgin Mary.
Virgin Mary, okay.
This is the oldest part of Salzburg, the beginning. This church was fixed by Bishop Rupert. You see this gentleman here, one of our 2 patrons. He's represented with the salt bearer to his left foot. The salt that financed the mission to spread the Catholic religion. Monks were sent here, they fixed the oldest church in the year 696 already. To the left-hand side, up to now, monks, Benedictine monks, have always been living here. Some of them. The highest number was over 100, now they are still 22, which is a still still there, inside the monastery. This is the monastery, yeah? Benedictine. Without interruption, always in existence, up to now. And this is the famous restaurant, docked to the mountain. Ground floor, first floor. It's a huge building right next to the rocks of the mountain. The Monks Mountain. This is the Monks Mountain because the monks living here. Also where the castle is fixed on the Monks Mountain. Yeah? Okay. And the restaurant has a very old number above the entrance. Can you see that? 803? The green sign over there. It was written down that the famous gentleman was here in that year, 803, and was eating something next to the church. So we know this must have existed in some form already. Charlemagne
Charlemagne from Germany, the German emperor, met his friends, the abbot of the monks, and they had something to eat. Only present, that's discussion about modern time, right? So the entrance to the parking garage, 1,300 cars. Some people are walking up here instead of taking the train. Many people walk like in squads, they walk the whole mountain up to the fortress. Yeah, it's not far, it's very scenic. You can imagine 10 minutes steep walk and then it's almost straight.
For me, 100 minutes.
No. 10 minutes. This is an open air organ, you see? In the old days, they announced the beginnings of operas, of theaters, to people who were outside, then to go inside and let's start the theater, the opera. And I show you, we take a look at the picture, because from Sound of Music, yes, they were singing anyways inside this theater.
This is what center.
This is the stage where the Von Trapp family was singing in front.
Last time.
But in the 1960s, this building did not have a roof yet.
Oh.
It took a lot. It took many years, that they fixed everything. But these arcaded galleries are digged into the mountain here on this side. Can we please open one passageway for the guys coming down here? But you see, this is digged 400 years ago. This was digged into the mountain, into the rock, to sit down people for watching horse tournaments. There was no building here. There was a big hole. They digged a lot of rocks from the material to fix the houses, the churches, and they thought it would be nice. Yeah, the horse stable was next door. The nowadays festival houses, the free theaters, used to be the horse stable 400 years ago. A unique setting. These days it's unique. No, you can copy it, but it's still not the old historical arcaded galleries inside the mountain. So the former horse stable looks like that. The rest was digged into the mountain, was added on, rebuilt. The big opera house, when it's raining, I told you, they moved from the square inside here.
This building?
Yes, here. This one. No, it's not this one, it's the so-called horse riding school.
Horse riding school.
This is the big opera house, the house of Mozart, but 3 separate buildings. The big opera house, House of Mozart, and the last one here next to us, the horse riding school. 6,000 people in total go inside. And in the during the summer festival, the 6 weeks, 200,000 visitors are coming from the whole world to this small town for church concerts, for operas here, for dramas and plays, in different settings, different events, 200 different events. A really famous thing, famous musicians, famous spectators. Since 100 years, but it was growing and growing. It started as a small festival and now it's a big one. Always sold out. The horse riding school. Up on the hill, the flat building is the Museum of Modern Art. And it's also possible by an elevator that we don't see inside the mountain. Since 80 years long, they have. You can go inside a building, and then inside the mountain you will exit on the terrace. Yeah, so two possibilities to not walk, to take the simpler possibility to buy the ticket only.
What is this, madam?
What is this? This is, I think, maybe the market square division, because maybe from over here only the market.
What are these 3 buildings? Salzburg Music Festival every year. House of Mozart was here.
No, you can.
One building.
Sure, from the building you can.
It was here.
And in the summertime they roll out the red carpet. Here.
সামনের বিল্ডিংটা বলছে মোজার্ট হাউস।
Don't touch.
It's plastic then. Carry over. Excuse me, what is she made it? Yes. Mozart's Buxta house something.
এই বাড়িতে মজার জন্মেছিল।
পেছনে যাও, পেছনে যাও।
এই বাড়িতে মজার জন্মেছিলেন।